Trading involves risk of loss and may not be suitable for you. Past performance is no guarantee or reliable indication of future results. All advice and education content is general in nature.
Good morning, traders and investors. It's Tuesday, the 25th of September, and we've seen the European markets coming off overnight and the US following suit as a little bit of selling pressure enters the markets. We're still in a counter trend movement overall, but with the long-term trend still in place. But a little bit of concern there as the lack of buying activity starts to trigger a bit of profit taking in the markets. As we take a look at the FTSE, it was down 13 points or 0.2%, closing at 5,838. We can see a small candle there with a large shadow on the bottom. The FTSE market had recovered through the afternoon session, but again, that is a real weak sign of activity in the markets, and we're now starting to test that 20-period moving average. So this counter trend movement is slowly wavering down, very similar to the price action back in mid-August, and we could see this continuing for a little while unless there's some sort of trigger to provide investors the opportunity to buy. The German DAX was down 38 points, 0.5%, closing at 7,413. A very similar picture, although it hasn't quite started to pull back. It's still within a very short-term trading range, trading between 7,300 and 7,500. So a very tight range there, and the very small candle just denotes the fact that there was a real lack of interest in the markets. The French CAC 40 was also down. It was down 33 points or 0.9%, closing at 3,497, and again is still within a short-term counter trend movement. If this was to break down below 34.80, then we could see this trading right back to the previous low point, which is around 33.70. So there's another 100 odd points in the markets, in the French CAC 40 there, and that would then begin to test the 50-period moving average, which is our medium-term indicator for trend. As we take a look at the US market, the Dow Jones are down 20 points. It's only a mild 0.15%. Again, it has kept a very tight trading range, remaining between 13,508 and 13,602. So a 100-point range for the day, maintaining the short-term sideways movement that has been in place for well over a week. The Nasdaq index was down 19 points or 0.6%, closing at 3,160. It did test a short-term low, so we're starting to see a little bit of profit taking in technology stocks, which have outperformed the broader market. And the S&P 500 was down 3 points or 0.2%, closing at 1,456. Now our momentum indicator down the bottom here, this one being the stochastic indicator, is starting to show weakness from the buyers, and it's been in an overbought region. We've now triggered a return of sellers, and that's a similar picture across most of the leading indices. As we take a look at the volatility index, we can see that it had attempted to rally as the markets were lower on the opening bell, but had given up most of its gains as they started to recover. The VIX had closed the day with a 17-cent gain, closing at $14.15. That's up 1.2%, only mild, and still maintaining the short-term sideways range. We are starting to see a bullish signal on the stochastic, so the momentum is starting to shift. Last time we'd seen a similar pattern, we did have a short pop in the markets. The markets had popped downwards and the VIX had gone up. So there is a potential that the VIX might rise on the very short term above 20 towards $21, and potentially test that short-term moving average. However, we are in a downwards trend, and we're going to need to see a lot more selling pressure in the US markets before the VIX starts to rally a lot stronger. On the Aussie market, the ASX 200 was down 20 points, closing at 4,388. It had formed a solid red candle with a bit of a shadow on the bottom as it recovered through the afternoon, just a little. It is in a counter trend movement and forming a short-term high. It is still in an upwards trend, and we could have a short-term pullback down towards that 20-period moving average, which is about 4,350 on. And if we do find a pullback down towards that level, we'd be looking for a higher low point to form, very similar to this, and give it the potential to push back up again towards the higher term resistance, which is 44.50. The SPY is down only just 1 point, so it's not really giving us much of an indication ahead of the market open. Looks like the global market activity really was just matching what we had done prior to their sessions on Monday's activity. So not much of an indication heading into Tuesday. We are in a short-term counter-trend movement, so there's a bit more weighting towards a little bit more of a sell-off in the markets just for now. But that's our update for Tuesday, the 25th of September. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us on brown@halifaxonline.com.au. Otherwise, we look forward to giving you an update again tomorrow.